Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program, Capital Beat. In a highly anticipated press conference, Election Commission today announced the dates for the elections in 5 states, that is Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Mizoram. And to begin with, the process starts on 7th November and the counting is on 3rd December. Chhattisgarh goes to polls in 2 phases, that is 7th November and 17th November. Immediately after the press conference was over, Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge said that the farewell to BJP and NDA allies has been announced. JP Nadda was quick to respond and he said that BJP will win all the 5 states. So the election bugle has been announced. The model code of conduct has kicked in. So what does the battle royale, or we could say the semi-finals before the general elections, looks like? Joining me now is Sunil Bhargav, the BJP spokesperson, joining us from Rajasthan. Thank you so much for joining. We have Javed Ansari, senior journalist and editor. Thank you so much, Javed ji. We have Sharad Gupta ji, senior editor and journalist. Thank you so much for joining. And let me begin with Javed Ansari. Javed, 2 phases in Chhattisgarh. Now, what's the idea? What's really the idea behind putting it in 2 phases? Of course, the threat of the Naxals looms large, but BJP time and again has been saying that, the Naxalism is almost over. It's a safe and secure state, but then also not taking chances, and the Election Commission has announced it in 2 phases.
Yes, I mean, it's understandable. Chhattisgarh has a history, if you remember. Just before the one of the elections, the entire state leadership of the Congress party was wiped out. So why take chances? The threat has reduced, but it hasn't vanished. So therefore, it's a matter of abundant caution, purely understandable. But what is certainly not understandable and justified is this business of staggered elections in the rest of the states. The other 4 states should have gone to polls on the same day. Right. Because and the reason I say this is intentional or unintentional, I don't know, willy-nilly. This gives an advantage to the party in power, to the party in power. Because if when polls in Chhattisgarh are being held, the Prime Minister will be campaigning in Rajasthan or in Madhya Pradesh or in Telangana or wherever, and perforce, by I don't know for what reasons seen and unseen, every channel will cover it verbatim, from a blanket cover. This is an advantage. This is an unfair advantage, in my view, to the ruling party, to the Prime Minister. He occupies the bully pulpit, and therefore no matter, even if he sneezes, that is covered. The same coverage is not accorded to the opposition parties. So Absolutely. This is an uneven playing field. And right. The Election Commission must not only be doing the right thing, they ought to be seen as doing the right thing. And right. In my view, this is certainly not doing the right thing.
Right. So just to recap for the viewers about the dates, Mizoram goes to polls on 7th November. Chhattisgarh in 2 phases, 7th November and 17th November. Madhya Pradesh, single phase, 17th November. Rajasthan, 23rd November. And Telangana is the last to go to polls, that is on 30th November. Sharaji, if I may come to you, what Javed was saying does have a merit, that why a staggered poll? And is it being unfair on Mizoram because it gets less time? That's the first state to go to polls. How does Election Commission ensure really a level playing field? And has it been unfair if it's a staggered polling schedule?
Mainly, whenever in any state or states, whenever there is a staggered poll, it is basically meant for movement of forces from one state to other, or one part of the state to other part. But here, there are 2 different states, Telangana and Rajasthan, polls apart, thousands of kilometers distant. So there's no justification. Means movement of forces from, say, Chhattisgarh or Madhya Pradesh to Telangana. So they could have been clubbed. The polls could have been clubbed. Chhattisgarh is not a big state, and Mizoram is a very, very small state. 40 seats. Imagine just 6 or 8 lakhs voters is much lesser than Lok Sabha constituency in Delhi or UP, Bihar. So they have much bigger constituencies. The whole state is less than one constituency of UP, Bihar. So means that defies logic. Clearly, that defies logic. Why all these states couldn't have been clubbed together? Means Mizoram and say Telangana. Telangana is also very small state after the bifurcation. It's a small state. So that is beyond comprehension. And these days, um, very few questions are being answered by even the constitutional position people sitting on the constitutional positions. So that this I can't say because nobody asked the question, or maybe if somebody asked, or maybe they were not even allowed the opportunity because after the press conference, just 3 or 4 questions are being taken by the officers and then they leave. So that is a very different and difficult position for journalists also. You cannot speculate and you are not getting any answers.
Mm. Right. Sanjay, thank you so much for joining. And I'll come to you first and then I'll go to Sunil Bhargav. What would you really say to the polling schedule which has been announced today? And of course, Mallikarjun Kharge was quick to put it out on X, that is Twitter, that it's a farewell of the BJP and its allies, which has been announced today. He was very quick to respond. And then JP Nadda also gave a quick reaction. But what would you really say to this battle royale now, just sort of semi-finals before the general elections? Yes, Sanjay.
Niru, good afternoon, and it's great to be on your program with such an eminent panel. I can see my good friend Javed Bhai here. I agree with what Sharadji mentioned that, yeah, I think could a common date have been found for doing the elections across the country? But yeah, I mean, we have to take it as it comes. But first and foremost, I'm glad that Neelu, you and the federal have not yet been raided under UAPA. So good luck for you. And but on a serious note, I
hope you haven't spoken a bit too soon.
Right.
In which case, all of us as even contributors to the federal content may soon find ourselves answering a lot of tough questions. But here is the reality. Here is the reality, which is that the Congress needs to take advantage actually of whatever has been announced by the Election Commission. In Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, they are clearly the front runners today, as it stands today. You never know what happens by the time the voter really comes to the EVM. A lot of analysis done of voting trends, Neelu, actually tell you that very often voters make a call on who they are going to vote for 24 hours before they actually vote. So, these are very critical elements. So I do think the Congress is a front runner. But given the way Indian politics plays out, with some arrest, with some release, some announcement, all the drama, etc., I will still kind of be a little more conservative before one makes some very rosy prognostications. As far as, I think Rajasthan and Telangana are concerned, I believe in both these states, the Congress is the party that has an opportunity to catch up and create an upset. Because I'll be honest with you that in Rajasthan, the internal internecine battles between Sachin and Ashok Gehlot did keep the Congress on the back foot. So if the Congress is got to now battle the headwind of Rajasthan being a swing state, which traditionally swings from one end of the pendulum to the other, plus the anti-incumbency, and plus now the fresh reapproachment that has happened courtesy Mr. Kharge's troubleshooting, it is the Congress which can actually gain by having more time to get the people to change their mind in its favor. So time technically helps the Congress in Rajasthan. And the same in Telangana. Because in Telangana, for a long time, it looked like a tripartite battle or a trifecta between the Congress and the BJP and the BRS. The BJP seems to have definitely now occupied the third seat with full comfort at this point, which means it is a battle between the Congress and the BRS. And therefore, it's always good for the challenger to have a little more bandwidth in terms of times and resources to take on the incumbent, because the incumbent is government and that comes with disadvantages. So in my opinion, technically, and I may be the outlier here, and I've said so to some people in the Congress whom I know, that instead of right now capitalize on what has been given to you. And I personally feel that end of day, whoever has taken this call, I think the Election Commission is an independent body to the extent that we can believe it is independent. I do believe this has given the Congress an opportunity and it must capitalize on it.
Right. So it has given an opportunity to Congress. Sunil Bhargav, if I may come to you this time, what has really gone wrong with BJP in terms of strategy, in terms of its positioning, and and also in terms of a faceless election, which apparently BJP is facing in every state, be it Madhya Pradesh, be it Rajasthan. You have a problem of plenty in Madhya Pradesh. Rajasthan, we do not know again. So where is BJP really heading to in terms of strategizing for the state elections?
Niruji, I'm taking the dates of the election as it is without going into the details of the merits of the dates and things like that, because once the election dates are announced, you can hardly do anything about it.
Right.
And we cannot question the wisdom or the independence of the Election Commission. Now, we all know, so far as Rajasthan is concerned, BJP has an edge. The Congress party is in disarray. As Sanjay Bhai also mentioned, it is faction-ridden. The chief minister is going into the war like a dawn quixote. He doesn't know where the army is. He doesn't have the support. All his MLAs and ministers, they are fully into the corruption. Now, there are charges and there is a heavy anti-incumbency against their MLAs and ministers. He's been making pronouncements without any budgetary support. He doesn't have money. So people know that these promises cannot be fulfilled. So there is one state where the chief minister is a lone fighter. He doesn't have his army support. He doesn't have his party support. He is making promises day after the other, every day, and he doesn't know from where the money will come. The whole state today is totally loaded with anti-incumbency, like crime against women, crime against weaker section, power is not available and is at a very high cost. So there are all sorts of problems. The price rise is there. Then, so Rajasthan is one state where the battle is one-sided. Now, when you talk of a
You saying, Mr. Bhargav, BJP has no problems in its camp?
I'm coming on your question.
Thank you, Sanjay. I'll come to
Okay.
yes.
And I think I have mentioned you in my earlier thing also. BJP has a national policy now to go into elections with a team with joint leadership, and then the leadership is decided after the election. Now this happened in Himachal, this happened in Gujarat, this happened in Goa, this happened in Karnataka, it is happening in Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, and Rajasthan is no exception. So there is an evolution, natural evolution of the leadership in BJP. In all states, irrespective of whether it is Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan or Chhattisgarh or whatever. So I think the election dates are there, the fight is on, and BJP is totally ready for at the ground level. Because in Rajasthan, we are prepared until the booth and Panna promotes. So that is the kind of preparation BJP has. So I may not comment on Madhya Pradesh or Chhattisgarh for that matter, but then yes, the dates for Chhattisgarh have been staggered because yes, it is not out of the next leg problem.
Right. Well, while you were speaking, Sanjay raised his hand. Sanjay, you wanted to make a point? Then I'll go to Javed. Yes.
Yeah, a short point. I think it needs to be added that the advantage that the Congress has today is that Mr. Pilot and Ashok Gehlot are fighting this together. They have their own personal investment in the success in the Rajasthan campaign. Secondly, the BJP itself is actually a very broken, fractured house. I don't want to, I think everybody knows that Vasundhara Raje is extremely disenchanted with the way she has been handled. And she was contemplating forming her own regional party. And I think internally the BJP is jeopardized on its own, shall we say, inherent contradictions. The point that Neelu very often we ignore is also Mizoram, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be guilty of ignoring a northeast state. After Manipur in Mizoram, I think the BJP needs to be, it will be literally obliterated there. It might try and cobble up some alliance. The BJP is capable of winning one seat and still forming a government, so that we know. But having said that, I don't see them having any chance in Mizoram whatsoever. Critically, I would like to add this point because I think the others need to come in. The caste survey is going to be the game changer for 2024. It's going to be a big play. And after the December results are out, I think one will be able to take a reasonable call as to where the 2024 general elections are headed. Those who keep saying all the time that in 2019 Congress won all these states and yet lost the 2019 general elections, I will tell them 5 years is a very long time in politics. A lot has changed. There is voter fatigue. People have seen corruption, price rise, unemployment, and communal stress. And I think there is a lot of people who are beginning to believe that change is in the air.
Right. All right. I'll come. Yes, Sunilji, you wanted to make a point?
Yeah, very small point. Sanjay Bhai insists that caste census would be the game changer. I don't see much merit into this. This week, there are a couple of surveys that have come up, including the CNN and IBN and all that. The survey says that still 65% of the OBC votes for BJP. Now, nothing changes with the caste census. And on the issue of Rajasthan, I wish that what he is presuming that Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot are fighting together comes true. But I can assure him for a fact that Vasundhara Raje is sincerely working to get the party back into power.
But she will not become the chief minister, of course.
That will be decided after the elections. I'm not saying that. Nothing is ruled out.
All right. All right. Now, let me come to Javed now. Javed, how do you see the campaign now shaping up? Will caste census become the big poll idea for the opposition parties, whether it is Chhattisgarh, whether it is Rajasthan? They've already said that, you know, the government will conduct a caste census. So is caste census going to be the big idea on which opposition will latch on to? And can it really put BJP on the back foot?
Neeruji, technically it is not census, it is survey.
Survey,
What
yes.
survey.
Yeah, I correct myself. It's survey. Yes, Javed. Yeah.
So it will be a factor. It will be one of the main talking points, campaign issues as far as the India alliance is concerned in the assembly elections. And it will be a very big issue come the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. So those who want to wish this away can do it at their own peril, but this will. I've covered Mandal, I've covered the run-up to and the aftermath of Mandal, and I know what it led to. I hope some of the events, history does not repeat itself in the kind of tragic events that took place. But yes, now a lot of water has flown down the bridge and things have changed and people will wake up to the ground realities. As far as Rajasthan is concerned, well, I don't want to join issue with my friend. He joined us for the first time. But the fact is that right now, okay, tell me, why is it that a 3-time sitting chief minister and a 2-time sitting chief minister are being undermined? And why have the BJP certainly thought of this new policy of not projecting a face? And will this continue for UP? Will this continue for Assam? Will this continue for say Maharashtra, where they've cobbled up a triple engine sarkar in the sense, and they've broken NCP, they've broken Shiv Sena, they've got all the others together. So will this policy continue there, or it's only to underpin these two potential threats that they may see in Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan and Vasundhara Raje? Because by all accounts, Vasundhara Raje has made a very good chief minister. She may have lost, but she did a lot of work. Now suddenly you want to change her. So is the same principle going to be applied to Himanta Biswa Sarma and Baba Yogi Adityanath also?
Sunil, you want to answer this? It's a crucial question. Yes.
The question is whether we are changing or it's a process that is taking place. Who said we are changing? It's only like the elections now that are being fought by BJP is indeed leadership of the Prime Minister of India, and the state team joins together to support that, and then one amongst the equals is selected at the end of the elections. So that is one thing to be understood. The second is that Vasundhara ji or Ashok Gehlot, whenever they are chief minister, they have lost the elections. So that is for the last 25 years. When Gehlot was the chief minister, he lost, Vasundhara came in, and vice versa. So we lost 2008 and 18. But then nevertheless, she is the most popular leader, and she is the leader who has a mass impact. So that is no denying the fact. And there is no denying of the leadership at the moment. She is the leader of the party. She is the vice president of the party.
Sunilji, I hope at least your party leadership is listening to what you're saying.
Right.
No, I'm consciously saying that nobody has said that she will not be a chief minister.
But she is certain. So despite being very popular, despite being a very good chief minister, she's not being projected. Why?
So what? So what?
Why?
What
has prompted this change? What has prompted this change of tactics?
We fought UP on the same lines.
No, you didn't.
All right.
The second time you didn't.
Yes.
Second time you did. You protected Adityanath. You protected Yogi Adityanath.
Yeah, but Javed, I just want to take a cue from what Sunil said, and I want to go to Sharadji, that in terms of the BJP strategy, he said that no, would you see this change in BJP strategy as some kind of a course correction? Or would you say that they have realized that the Modi mascot doesn't work in the state elections? I mean, there are two ways of looking at it. How would you look at it?
I want to look at it as the fact that Modi remains the most popular leader in the BJP. So that's why, and there is anti-incumbency against Shivraj Singh Chauhan. So he couldn't have been the chief ministerial candidate again. So that's why they had to bring in Modi. They wanted to contest the entire election in the name of Modi. So similarly, in Rajasthan, the idea behind fielding so many candidates and not projecting Vasundhara was, as the BJP says, to spring a second line of leadership so that a person doesn't remain at the top forever. Let others also get a chance to come in leadership roles. That is what the BJP has been saying, which Ms. Bhargav could not put it so successfully. But my question is, if that is the real reason, so will the same procedure be applied for the center also? Okay, why not there be a second line of leadership? All the second line of leadership is whoever could have come in that role is, be it Shivraj Singh Chauhan, be it Vasundhara Raje, be it Yogi Adityanath, be it Nitin Gadkari, be it Rajnath Singh Chauhan. You just name the person and they don't figure anywhere in top 10. I don't think even they even figure it. Yeah, so they don't figure in top 10 is in as next prime ministerial candidate. So so that means the logic is flawed. It's not the correct logic. But BJP is offering that logic is not correct. So basically, they wanted to cut everybody to size. Vasundhara was never in good books of Mr. Modi or Mr. Amit Shah. They already had a run-in as soon as the government was formed because of the minister who was appointed without her consent, and that too, he was accused of a rape. So from there has always been a running. They shared the stage. They used to just exchange greetings, never even look at each other. They used to sit on the dais for hours together, but never looked at each other. Means one
Right.
will get up and now Vasundhara is not being allowed to address rallies in Mr. Modi's presence. She is just
Absolutely.
allowed to share the dais. So just to say that she will be projected chief minister or MLAs will decide. So this is just a farce. No party allows the MLAs to elect their chief minister. There's just a facade being created in every party.
Hmm. Absolutely.
So
But I'll come to you, Sunil, on that. But I want to go to Sanjay now. That Sanjay, what happens generally, as what we have seen, that when the campaign begins, the carpet bombing rallies of prime minister will start, and again the same Hindu versus Muslim narrative will play out. Are we going to see anything different? And is the opposition ready again to battle out that politics of Hindutva? Kabristan and Shaheen Bagh and whatnot we've seen in the past. If the same tone is acquired by BJP again, and which will end up polarizing the voters, are we going to see anything different? And is the opposition ready?
Nilu, I think the playbook of Hindutva polarization will be done by the BJP. I have looked at the BJP very dispassionately in terms of what they have achieved and what they haven't. And I can tell you it has been a very, I would call it the lost decade under Mr. Modi, a dark and a lost decade. If you look at the numbers of jobs, India's demographic dividend story is almost at its abysmal low. Food inflation is a massive challenge. We saw the rural distress where the farmers were on the streets for nearly 1 year. You look at the MSME sector, it's suffered. India is under a threat of regular and repeated rising communal temperature, which is, by the way, engineered by parties belonging to the Sangh Parivar. We also know that authoritarianism, it has its peak at the moment. You have BJP leaders who talk about changing the constitution. I think if you look at it on an overall basis, India has actually wasted 10 years under Mr. Modi. So what will the BJP do? It has this potent formula that it always employs during elections, which is, communal polarization, which is about hyper nationalism. You see, the point that we all need to understand, why is Narendra Modi the campaigner in chief in all the states? Because Modi is the prime minister, right? So what they do is they actually, what I call as nationalize a state election. How do you do that? You talk of national security. You'll talk about threat from Pakistan and China.
Absolutely.
You'll talk about terrorism. You see the whole, and then they will use pathetic language of calling the opposition as traitors and what have you. What is the positioning? The positioning is that we are the true patriots of this country, and we are the only ones who can defend its borders. And we all know what's happened in Manipur, so let's not even talk about it. The
Right.
truth is that end of day, that is the only, I would call, the formula or the playbook that the BJP
Absolutely.
plays by. But the reality is that Narendra Modi is only a diminished political brand when it comes to regions and states. It's not just about Himachal and Karnataka. If you look at BJP, even after the 2019 elections, they struggled in Haryana. They could have lost it had the Congress played its cards well. In Maharashtra, they could not form the government. And since then, you look at their track record, they have done worse than they did after 2014. I definitely believe that in these 5 elections, the BJP will probably end up with 0. I think Mr. Bhargava is bullish on Rajasthan, but I believe the Congress will pull it back in Rajasthan. If the BJP were to get 0 or 1, it will tell you a trend. And I do feel that today the people of India have recognized that while Narendra Modi may be a very powerful political personality because he controls the narrative, because he influences the mainstream media particularly, I think that game is now been overplayed. And
Right.
at some stage, I believe in the intelligence of the common voter. So I'm very optimistic of change in 2024.
All right. So let me come in for the concluding comments to Sunil and Javed. Sunil, over to you now. Do you not realize, or the party doesn't realize, that the script by which the BJP is going, especially for the state elections, that script is going horribly wrong? You cannot bank on the prime minister. You've overexposed your prime minister, rather. Very brief.
I think we come to a couple of things. First, the opposition is not able to see marching India. So the growth of India, its position worldwide, and the social strata that has gone a total change now. We are not in the times where just communal issues could change the whole thing. Indian voters are now very live to the situation as to what has gone wrong earlier and what is now being set right. Now, coming on the issue of the leadership of the Prime Minister, see, this has been the trend ever since the independence. Nehru used to be their leader. Then Indira Gandhi used to be the leader. And that was one of the reasons why Congress fell. So she became unpopular. But
You're also using the same strategy.
He's gaining a lot of confidence and support of the people of the country. And he continues to get that.
Right.
His support level is the highest in the country. And then what is wrong in the collective leadership at the state level? The local leaders are not undermined. They are strengthened. But then there is a collective leadership. And
no, but the
then
perception
the
is
center also.
BJP looks confused.
Congress in
Perception
Rajasthan,
is that BJP looks confused. It has a problem of plenty.
No,
It's a faceless election.
that is the strength of the party. You have many people who can become chief ministers. Now, on the other issue, can Sanjay Bhai assure who is the leader in Rajasthan? Will Ashok Gehlot retain his position, or have they promised Sachin
Sanjay,
Pilot?
you want to make a quick point to this, and then I'll go to Javed for the concluding comments. Yes, Sanjay.
Nilu, let me tell you this, that the BJP will never use the term double engine Sarkar anymore after Karnataka and Manipur. Never again will they use it. That entire bogey has been exposed as the ultimate anti-federal, incompetent and corrupt arrangement. And as far as Rajasthan is concerned, let me tell you, the Congress is likely to win the election. And it will have a choice between one person who's been chief minister for a considerable period and another who's distinctly the future, who's definitely the future. Yeah.
Right. We're running short of time. Yes, Javed, to you for the concluding comments.
See, when Congress does it, it's the leadership for the future. When BJP does it, it's a disaster. It's a confusion.
All right. Let me go to Javed now. Yes. Let me go to to Javed now. Yes, Javed, over to you.
No, so what's the question?
No. The point is that you just heard what Sunil is saying. That Sunil is saying that this is BJP's strength. If you have too many leaders, and so it looks like a BJP strength. So does BJP look strengthened in all these 5 states for which it is going to the polls?
Well, I certainly don't see it from that. I don't see it from that prism at all. BJP has a huge problem. BJP has faded as a party, as a contender, as far as Telangana is concerned. In Rajasthan, they had a very proficient chief minister who, for reasons best known to themselves, they're undermining. Shivraj Singh Chauhan is perhaps seen as a potential threat. So therefore, he has to be undermined, despite the fact that he's done 3 terms as chief minister. So BJP is, I find a lot of things that the BJP is doing is very intriguing. And I'd be very happy if Sunil ji, jate iska jawab de jaiye. Will you try the same form, implement the same principle in UP and in Assam?
Yes,
Center
Sunil.
pe chhod dijiye, main chhod deta hu.
Yes. Over to you, Sunil.
No, I don't think that question is before us. So the decisions have to be taken. And see, one has to understand that the old leadership has to go one day. Even Prime Minister Modi will have to go one day. And the process for the second line of leadership has to start sometime.
Sunil ji, please be careful. Please be careful. Nilu's program is very popular. Modi ji and his friends watch it.
No,
अभी
but
जो आपने कहा है, he
will
might have to
complete his
go.
100 years one
It
day.
might come back to bite you.
That's the truth.
It
Every
might come
person
back
has
to
to
bite you.
complete his
All
100
right.
years.
All right. So why not be vocal? Why doesn't the party be vocal about the fact that it wants to shunt out its old guard and bring in the new leaders? The irony is the party doesn't say that. Well, but interesting times ahead.
It's not one shoe fits all.
All
You
right,
have to
all right.
understand that.
All right. So the model code of conduct kicks in today, and heavy campaigning now in the days to come. Lots of interesting moments, of course, and we'll be carrying on with our discussions. Thank you so much, Sunil Bhargav, Javed Ansari, Sharad Gupta, Sanjay Jha. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful having all of you on the program, and one appeal to the viewers who are watching this discussion: subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to the Federal. Thank you.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.